Everyone can please take their seat. We have all the candidates and we're ready to go. We'd like to move through this so that we respect everybody's time that's here today. So if you'd like to continue your conversation, please do so in the lobby. You can do it now or afterwards, but for now I'm going to ask you to take your seats. Okay, first off, John. Did I get the name right? John. So John inquired a really great question. There's obviously a lot of you here, but there's many more of you that may have not been able to attend tonight. So if you'd like to watch both the local or the regional, or both of them, they're going to be posted on the website ajax.ca/debates around midday tomorrow. So if anybody wants to watch, you can check it out around midday or in the evening, which will be the best because then you know for sure it's going to be up. So we're going to move into the regional. Now, is there anybody who's new with us that's just joining us that wasn't at the local? Okay, so you're going to have to kind of catch up because we're going to go through some of the intro stuff a little bit quicker just to save for some time. So I hope you don't mind that. But once again, my name is Ryan Coelho, and we are now moving into the regional councillor debate. As mentioned, voting in this election is going to be very different than in previous years, in the sense that there will be no polling stations. You can vote anytime, anywhere, from Monday, October 15th, starting at 10 a.m. until Monday, October 22nd, ending at 8 p.m. There will be some voter assistance centers, so if anyone needs some help, check out the website and you'll be able to learn more about that. So please, jot in your calendars, remember to vote, and because you're such engaged citizens, encourage your neighbors to also come out. So tonight will be a formal structured debate. I won't go through all the rules. I'm just going to reiterate the difference between local and regional, which I mentioned in the first one. So this is now the regional debate. So the regional council deals with policing, transit, major roadways, and health and social services. They also sit on the local council, and the local council deals with fire services, road maintenance, recreation programs, parks, and libraries. So, all questions are welcome now. So if you've been saving any because you wanted to get it to the right person in regional, now's your time to do that. A reminder of times. So for the opening statements, candidates, you're going to have 2 minutes. You're welcome to do it at your seats or come up to the podium when I introduce you. Audience questions, you have 30 seconds. Please remember to be respectful, very concise. Add some context, of course, but then be clear on what the question is. And should any of the candidates need to hear the question again, please first refer to me and ask me, and then I will, if I have it written down, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'll ask for the person to reiterate. Keep all personal details out. Let's be respectful of people's privacy and safety. And yes, candidates, you have 1.5 minutes to answer the question. You also have 2 rebuttals throughout this debate, meaning if you have a comment you want to make on what another candidate says, you want to make a clarification on a fact, or anything else after your time is up, you're able to notify me, and at the end, when all the candidates have spoken to that question, you'll be able to give a 1-minute rebuttal. So just make sure you get my attention before I move into the next question. Feel free to just say my name, and I will come to you. And you have closing remarks of 1 minute. So the opening remarks will start from Nancy moving over to Sterling, and then for the closing we'll start with Sterling and moving with Nancy. So without further ado, let's get started. I'd like to introduce now, to give her opening statements, Nancy Henry.
Good evening, friends. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend tonight's Ward 2 debates. My family and I have lived in Ajax since 2006. I have ran in previous elections, coming in second both times. This time, with your help, I'm going to come in first. It's a lot of pressure on you. And me. But together, we can do this. Since moving to Ajax in 2006, I've been chair of Tweed Drive walkway closure, stopped a 15-story condo, chair of the Fishlock Park North Neighborhood Watch, consisting of 300+ members, co-chair of St. Teresa of Calcutta Parent Council, recipient of the Catholic Volunteer Award, member of the Durham Catholic Parent Involvement Committee, DCPIC, and co-chair of the policy on that committee. Chair, organizer, participant of the North Ajax Community Group float for the Ajax Santa Claus Parade, organizer of the North Ajax Group Mayor's 20-Minute Cleanup, participant while chairing in the Durham Regional Police Neighborhood Watch video, past director of community development for Be Smart Foundation, fundraiser for vulnerable families in need within our community, past coach of the Azuri Soccer Club, member of the MEAO. I'm also a former daycare teacher, former bookkeeper for small business, accounts payable and receivable, a mother to the lovely Kelly, and a wife to the incredible Kevin Henry at the back there. Going door to door over the past few months, I've heard what's important to you, the voters, and I'm prepared to be a voice for you, a voice for the people at Town Hall and at the region. It's important that the person that you are electing for regional council be an advocate for you at our ward, our town, but also that understands that we are more than a town. We are a region. We need to work cooperatively with our neighboring cities to achieve what's best for all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Henry. Now we have Mohammed Asif.
Hello, good evening everyone. I'm here as a candidate for Regional Councillor for Ajax Ward 2. I have been a resident of Ajax since 2009, living with my mother, my wife and 4 beautiful daughters. We have done our very best to learn about our community by participating in as many activities as possible. It has come to my attention that my community has many issues that have yet to be resolved. While I was campaigning, I met different people of all ages, seniors, working class, housewives, and youth. I felt very honored that community of Ajax trusted me enough to share their concerns and issues with me. Seniors, I think they are our assets. They are concerned with the transit and wheel trans. I met different seniors. They said we want wheel trans, but we are unable because there is big queues in the Durham Transit office. Then I met working class. They were worried about the property taxes, and as well seniors also. I have thought long and hard about all these concerns. For seniors, I will strongly raise their voices within the region to give a big relief in property taxes to my seniors who lives in my community because they have limited source and income. Many housewives had concern regarding security, mainly including speeding issues in our community. And our youth, who is future of this country and this community, about their jobs within our region. As you all know, I am a resident of Ajax, so I have the same concerns as all of you have. I will be the person to voice your concern to the regional council. I am here to assure my community, if you elect me, I will be your voice and support and resolve all your concerns. Please vote because every vote matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohammed. Sterling Lee.
Thank you. I'd like to first acknowledge this debate takes place on the Williams Treaties Ojibwe First Nations traditional territory, of which the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nations are most closely located. Thank you to the town of Ajax for hosting these series of debates, and thank you to those in attendance and watching online. This year is an incredibly important election because it's an election of change. We have a mayor that's retired after 21 years of distinguished service. We have a brand new regional council position allowing Ajax greater representation within Durham region. We have an ever-growing and ever-evolving population, primarily in the north, where diverse needs need to be met. We need a voice for this ward. I want to be your voice that represents experience and accountability. My work for the past 3 years for the federal government and the Honorable MP Mark Holland has allowed me the privilege to serve my community. I know firsthand the needs of Ajax, and I want to be the individual accountable for those needs. I may not always give you the answer you want, but I'll always be available to help find solutions for your problems. I want to be your voice for business and innovation. For 15 years, I worked in the technology sector for Rogers Communications and Microsoft as a district sales manager. I understand the complex nature of forecasting a budget and the evolving needs of the business community. More importantly, I understand the need for fresh ideas in today's changing world. Growing business within Ajax is the only way we'll reduce property tax, and I want to help lead that change. Finally, I want to be your voice for community. Whether it be road safety or crime, I live in Ward 2, and I want to see it improved. It doesn't matter if you've lived here 60 years or you're a new family that moved in from Toronto yesterday. We all share the same basic needs of safer neighborhoods, safer roads. From youths to seniors, from renters to homeowners, it's my duty to ensure everybody is accounted for. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to speak today, and I hope I can count your support for Ward 2 Regional Councillor. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Sterling. So now, just a reminder to candidates, when you see that yellow card, as we start with the questions, that means you're at the 1 minute mark and you have 30 seconds left, and then the red card means your 1.5 minutes is up. Just so you know what those cards mean. Audience, when you see the yellow card, it's 20 seconds has gone by and you have 10 seconds left to wrap up your question. So basically get to the key question, what is it you're trying to ask? And yep, what we'll do is now I'll ask Marion, if you could put your hand up so you all know. Marion is helping us with our question and managing the line. If you want to form a line behind the mic over there for the question, if you have a question to ask, and just to wait for me to get your microphone. All right, sir. John, go ahead.
So, simple question. So, top priorities that you feel that are needed from your perspective, and why and how you're going to do it. Why do you think it's a top priority, and how you're going to do it.
All right, thank you. We're going to start with Nancy Henry to answer that one.
So, is this on? Hello?
Yeah.
So the three things that I'm hearing at the door right now, the top three things I'm hearing going door to door. One, police station for Ajax. 2, Durham Regional Transit, and 3, seniors. I'll try to answer all your questions within the time I'm allotted, but I don't know if I'm going to get it all in there. Durham Regional Police, as you know, we share 19th Division with Pickering. They have around 110,000 residents, maybe a little bit more right now. We have over 120,000. We're sharing 19th Division with them. I am supporting bringing flagship-style police station to Ajax, something that would have 2-tier levels with Durham Regional Police on the top level and a police station on the main level with some supportive services attached to it as well. I am not supporting it as in build it from new, take your tax money, increase your taxes. I'm supporting it as in Durham Regional Headquarters is looking at building on to their building or building a new building from my understanding. There's some money allocated for that. And I'm saying bring that money here and we can use that to do it cheaper than it would be rebuilding a whole new building instead of putting the regional employees through that. And having Durham Regional Headquarters move here. And I'm not going to answer your other questions because I see that I've got the flag up. Apologies.
Thank you, Danny. It's a valid question. My preference is here, most of the residents in my community, they came from other communities here, they bought houses here. And they are concerned when they compare their tax ratio with the other communities. They ask this question, why we are paying this. So, I tried my best to explain them because it depends on the population here. We have more expenditures, so we need more money to run this region. So that's why I have planned that we have so many acres of lands. We can convince commercial businesses here that they can come here, they can start their business here, so we can raise more taxes from them. Then we can put burden on, instead of more taxes on my residents, we can do that on the commercial basis, so we can reduce our taxes. And security everywhere that, like I went door to door, most of the people asking me that we are not feeling scared, we call police reaches sometimes 8 to 10 minutes. So we need police station here, but it is not easy, because if we will spend that money, it means they are going to increase my taxes. So if I elect and I go to the region, then I will arrange that matter, that we can request to the provincial government, please give us some money, we can open new police station here. Why we don't have any police station? We should arrange that situation, that we can sit with the Durham region chief, that my community needs their presence of police as early as possible, within 3 to 4 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. Sure.
Thank you. Very good question. So the three priorities I'm hearing, number one is road safety. People are driving too fast on local roads. And one of the key things I want to focus on is the most at-risk areas, which is school zones. What I want to do is I want to set up automated speed enforcement or photo radar in school zones. If you're going 5 or 10 kilometers over the speed limit, that's fine. We all go 5, 10 over. But if you're someone going 20, 25 over, I think you should get a ticket right away, and I think that ticket will encourage people to slow down, especially in school zones where I can't count on a 6 or 7-year-old to look both ways before we cross the street. Property tax is number 2, and I'm sorry if I'm speaking fast, just want to make sure I get to these points. As everyone's going to say here, we need more business development in Ajax. But what I want to focus my business development on isn't retail. We don't need Best Buy or Gap anymore, and no offense to the Best Buy or Gap. We need industries that are long-term solutions. And so the industries I want to focus on are automotive, energy, technology. These are what we're teaching in the schools. And long-term, if I can get people to have their kids go to school locally, and then there'll be a job waiting for them, it can only improve our economy and lower property taxes. The third is a police station. And unlike my competitors, I disagree. I don't think we need a police station. We haven't had a staffing increase since the year 2011. 7 years of growth. And I think it's about about 10,000 people we've added in Ajax, 50,000 in Durham region. Before we even build a single station, we need to increase staffing levels so that every once in a while we can see a police officer drive through our neighborhoods to ensure our communities are safe. So those are the 3 priorities.
Okay, thank you, Shirley. Now, okay, we have 2 rebuttals, just so you're aware. For rebuttals, you have only 2 throughout the whole thing. Yep. When you see the yellow card, that's 45 seconds. That means you have 15 seconds. When the red card hits, that's 1 minute. So, Mohammed, we'll start with you.
As just let me answer this question.
Yeah, sorry.
As most of my community members, if they travel from Taunton, from Brock Road to Lake Ridge, you will see they're 80 kilometers per hour. So it means, as my colleague said, we can go more than 10-15 kilometers more. So it means we go 95. So that 90 kilometer speed of that only down very far. It can create accidents. It is not safe for my community. I will suggest Durham Region Road and Public Health Engineering that they should need survey. They should reduce that speed up to 65. And especially if you are going north on all roads, then you make a right turn. When you make a right turn, you will see it sometime, most of the time, you will see accidents there. So I force them to make emerging lane. When we make right turn, we know nobody can hit us from behind. So that's my preference. We need zero tolerance in my community. I don't like those people who drive fast and they can create any problem or danger for my kids.
Thank you, Mohammed. Nancy, would you like to also do a rebuttal?
Yes, I'd like to ask Mr. Lee, then if he's not in favor of a police station, why did he put out a statement in July 5th saying that he was?
Well,
okay, so sorry, so for the rebuttals, it's only you're allowed to make a comment about anything that was said, but not ask a question to another candidate.
I can make
so
a comment?
you can make a comment about anything he said, but then it leaves at that. Unfortunately, so go ahead, Nancy.
So, a statement he put out in July 5th saying Ward 2 Regional Council candidate Sterling Lee has firmly expressed his desire to have a police station situated in Ajax.
You're going to leave it at that? Okay, and you would like to use a rebuttal?
Absolutely. It's not that I don't want a police station in Ajax, folks. I actually think we need one. But it's a matter of priorities. If we don't have enough staffing right now, then how can we possibly conceive building a $50 million station? We don't have staffing now. I've spoken to the police association since I've launched that. And again, I want a police station eventually. But it has to be bodies before buildings and staffing before a station. Let's hit our minimums first. And once we get to an appropriate level where we don't feel as endangered as a community, then let's build the station. I'm all for that.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, sir, before we get to your question, just a reminder, please turn phones off to vibrate or silent. And once again, when you see the yellow card, you still have time until you see the red card. So you don't need to stop at the yellow card. Sir, thank you for your patience. Go ahead.
How can you create opportunities for our youth who pass out within the Dham region or come back after their graduation? Are you involved in youth leadership programs or activities? And what is your vision for our youth?
Thank you, sir. We're going to start with Muhammad Asif for this.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. It's a very good question, and I am very happy that my community is very well aware of their youth. You know, when we send any kid to the university, right? So because we have only, like here, University of Oshawa, or we have York Region University of Downtown. I think our kids, they have enough confidence, they can go anywhere because we don't have any opportunity here. So it's not an easy to build a university here as our local government, they are giving us schools here. So our kids are, yes.
I make you pardon. Talk about the opportunity.
Sorry,
Regarding opportunity, regarding their jobs or their courses. Can you repeat it, please?
Well, okay, so no, so
After the graduation, what are the opportunities you can create for them to come back
thank you for
home
that.
to
Thank you very
work?
much. So opportunities mean they need jobs here. So as I started my starting debate, right? So let's suppose if he's a doctor, he's going to be a doctor, he's an engineer, right? So we don't have any telecommunication company here. We don't have IT business here. We don't have any big workshop here. Like where your kids can work. We have only Walmart, we have only Best Buy. So if you send your kids to a university, we don't want to send them on odd jobs. So for that, we should attract other businesses that we have that environment that we can provide them and they can build up their business here. So then we can send our kids here. But it will take some time, and I will raise this point if I elect, and I will go to the Dham region, that my community has that problem. Thank you very much.
thank you, Mohammed. Sterling?
The first question you asked was, what have I done for the community, which is a very good question. Back in 2017, I started the Ajax Constituency Youth Council. So that was through the office of MP Mark Holland. We engaged 15 youth I challenged them to solve everything. So they tackled issues such as civic engagement, transit, and financial literacy. Through that time, they did 2 financial literacy seminars. We did a park cleanup at Imagination Park, which is in Ward 2. We raised funds for Girls Inc. and supplies for Joanne's House. And we outlined civic engagement through our social media. To answer your next question, what can we do for youth? There's no guarantee of jobs when someone graduates. And that's something we really have to make sure our youth understand. We also have to make sure they're skilled in resume building, skilled in interviews. And these are program services that our region currently offers. So you'd be surprised how often people come to the office saying, my kid can't get a job. My first question back to them is always, then why are you here? And how come your kid isn't here? And the problem is we're enabling our children doing all the work for them. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take entry-level jobs before we get to that 6-figure salary, which I've never made, but I would like to eventually in my lifetime. But the focus should be, ultimately, let's teach them work ethic. And that's how I think we can do that through the Durham region and their abilities to help people with resume building, interview skills.
Thank you, Sterling. Liz?
Can I ask for the question to be repeated?
Okay, so I will give the question. It's what are the plans or your ideas for youth after they graduate?
Wasn't it what have you done with youth?
As well as that. Go ahead.
So, as far as what have I done with youth, I work with a very large youth group. I've been very fortunate in my life to have been co-chair at St. Teresa's Southland School. And through that program, we have developed anti-bullying, I call it anti-bullying pizza program. So what it is instead of wearing the pink shirts once or twice a year, our students wear them every Wednesday. And the students involved in the pizza program, we really get to connect with them even more. After graduation, I was lucky enough that a lot of the students came with me, wanted to volunteer, do more in the community. I stayed with that base of students. I had some of them get involved in Be Smart Kids with me, non-for-profit organization that's involved in giving out free brand new books to children in need within the communities. And that goes all throughout Ontario. So they got to see firsthand and work with some of our more vulnerable sectors. It was a very good experience for all of us. I've had a lot of them stay with me on the campaign trail, and I found them part-time jobs within the community. So I'm trying to show them that there's always someone there for them to help them. And as far as what do they have for the future here, it's very critical we develop our prestigious employment lands in Ward 2. Once these lands are developed and we bring the right type of business here, this gives them a brighter, better future, somewhere to go and have a good paying job. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Candy, somebody encourage you to write down the questions, just so we limit the back and forth and repeating the questions. Sir, please take the mic over.
Okay, hi, my name is Pranji. I'm Ajax resident. My question is, average Durham region resident drive about 100 kilometers towards Toronto West for jobs. So as a regional councillor, what will you bring to the table to reduce that driving, 100 kilometer driving on average for residents of Durham?
So I'm just going to ask you to clarify, is it the speed that you're asking?
No. I'm saying,
Oh, the distance.
we are driving 100 kilometers
Yeah.
to just get a job. That means Mississauga. I didn't want to take any name of the city. So as a regional councillor, what will you bring to the table to bring more jobs in Durham region?
So more jobs into the region. For this one, we're going to start with Sterling.
So in 2017 of August, our office was asked to endorse the Super Clusters Initiative. So long story short, it's a federal government initiative that brings together enterprise, government, and education. And from there, we're trying to create industry, like I was mentioning before, to attract jobs. So that Super Cluster Initiative had to do with clean energy technology. It goes back to my point earlier. We need to focus specifically, we need to tie our job strategy to what we're teaching in schools. UIT has a top-of-the-line automotive sector. Durham College has an artificial intelligence hub, right, which is breakthrough technologies that we're seeing in medical billing and everything like that. These are the industries we need to focus on. But what I'm describing to you is not a 4-year plan. I can't magically make this happen. We're definitely looking 8 to 12 years out. But when this does happen, it means when my kid grows up, he can go to UIT or Durham College, his choice, I'm not going to put pressure on him, and then afterwards, he'll have the ability to have a job waiting for him that's tied to his industry. And that's preventing him from going all the way to Toronto.
Thank you, Sterling. Nancy.
So again, I'm going to go back to our employment lands, our prestigious employment lands. As it is now, we currently have 70% of our residents leaving the town every day to go to employment elsewhere. That is far too many. We are supposed to be creating 1 job for every 2 residents here. We have not come anywhere close to meeting that expectation. These lands, if you look around the town and you see what lands are still available to be developed, you will see that Ward 2 has the most undeveloped lands. And this is something that this council, there's a lot of people in this room tonight that are running for Ward 2, and this is something that this new council is really going to focus on. It's going to change things, having the right type of employment here, and strengthen that employment base. That's what's going to change everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Mohammed.
Thank you very much. I need some time to explain to you. I met 2 seniors here, Mr. and Mrs. Abbas. They came here in 1970. They told me when they came here, there was nothing north of 401. So they go all the way downtown and we take at least 1 hour. So it depends on your population. Like you have example for Mississauga, right? So by most of the industry, like people in ITs, in automotive and other industries, they are moving there. They use their space on their right space, on the right spot. They attract business communities. They attract multinational companies. So if you are working somewhere, because not only you are working, I met approximately 6,500 people. Out of them, 5,900 people, they daily travel from my community to downtown, and some people they go to Burlington and Hamilton area. So it is not easy to promise with you. Like it maybe in my 5-year or 4-year, we can create such type of atmosphere that we can attract or build new communities that they can bring businesses here. But it takes long time. It is not like we can bring moon in front of you. It needs time. But your question is valid, but we can promise, but we can raise your voice that we have lands, we have opportunities. We will try our best to raise your voice in the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Ma'am, please go ahead. Thank you.
I think that Durham region is poised is very well positioned to really do amazing things. Now, my question to you is, we have a sector of our youth that's very underserved. Like, we talk about the youth that graduate and what opportunities are available, but in sitting on Durham Regional Council, how would you look at an overall youth plan that incorporates our high school students, which seems to be the students that are least served?
Okay, so youth plan that incorporates high school students. Nancy, you want to start this one?
So first of all, I'd like to thank you for the question. And that question came from someone who knows what she's talking about, Patrice Barnes, who is our public school board trustee. So currently now, I see there being a divide between the boards and the region, and I want to bridge that gap. One of the things I've put forward is in my meetings is to have both trustees there, Catholic and public school board, in my meetings in a forum where there's tables around the room and you can come and talk to them. That's the beginning of bridging the gap there. As for helping, how that will help the youth, we have to start working with our trustees at the regional level and not leaving them out of the conversation. There is much work to be done in this area, and we're going to have to work very closely with our trustees. We've already had some conversations. I've spoken with some of the trustees on both boards, and moving forward, we know that this is the way to better this situation, but we need to work together.
Thank you, Nancy. Mohammed?
Thank you very much. Basically, from my point of view, this is a local problem, like for town of Ajax and all trustees, right? So for that, we can get good decisions. We can make good decisions, and we can get good. We can make decision on it if we have good connection with the school trustees, and we can find out what's going on there. So without attraction between region and town of Ajax, it is impossible. So I will try my best to listen all problems from the other region too, and bring closer and try to solve their problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohammed. Sterling?
I made the biggest mistake when trying to connect with youth, and that is I got old. The problem with youth right now is that they don't connect with a lot of the programs we currently have. I would love for my son to play basketball, but what if his interests aren't basketballs? Esports is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's video games, and all our lives we were taught, stop playing video games, go and meet some friends. Video games are so modern right now, you can meet 25 to 30 different people. Why don't we have a regional, or at least a town, video game club? I know UIT, or Durham College, has an esports team. They're embracing modern technologies. Why don't we have other programs that our youth are actually clamoring for and interested in? The fact is, everybody wants to be an Instagram and YouTube star. That's a fact. My nephew has a YouTube channel. It's not very good, but he has one. Why don't we provide video editing programs for these youth? So it gives them a creative outlet, so A, they're not doing, hanging out in a walkway, but rather we can put them in productive use to programs they actually want to do. So in essence, we need to consult our youth and find out what their current interests are, and then connect them with the programs that we can create from the regional or town level.
Thank you, Sterling. Sir, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Waqas, and I wish you all the best, all of you. And my question is that there are jobs created in the region. Some of them are outsourced, and when there are jobs in the Durham region, do you think this is a good idea to give preference to the resident of the Durham region?
So, okay. Everyone's okay, Kevin?
And how can we stop the outsourcing to different countries or different places where our resident here in the region, they lose their opportunity and
Thank you. Mohammed, please start this one.
Thank you, Waqas Sayed. It's a very valid question. But it depends on ability of a candidate. Like if you think, like it's very clear that most of the people, they are working in downtown Toronto or Mississauga, but same ability and capacity they have there too. So it is very tough decision for the guy who is giving the job. But yes, we can arrange such type of atmosphere that for odd jobs, we can provide, we can force them, or we can set a debate. But it depends on your ability and capacity. What type of job is there, and how the guy who is going to select it. Like, let's suppose my daughter is here, and she's a doctor, and she goes for interview in downtown, and one person's daughter, she is living there. But what happens if my daughter has more ability, and she can get the job? And what I will feel if that person will get the job because she lives there? This is not, I think I will not go for that. It depends on your capacity, ability, not on the area, not on the region. It is open. If you have lots of job and you have less candidate, then you can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Sterling.
So I went on the Ontario Works website. You're right. There's 6,161 jobs available in Durham region. So the first thing I don't want to do is legislate business. You know, there should be a degree of free market. They shouldn't have government telling them exactly who to hire, when to hire, because that could be prohibitive on the business owner to actually have a thriving business. But I think it's the other side of we should be connecting with our employment groups like CDCB, Ontario Works, the Resource Center that Durham Region has, and really encourage them to find these jobs and connect them with the right applicants. Because I truly believe if you're willing to work for it, there is a job for you. It may not be your full-time career, but there's a job for everybody. And if you're willing to work, we should be able to put you to work as soon as possible.
Thank you, Sterling. Nancy.
I have a question for the question. Can I ask that?
You can ask her me.
Okay. So I'd like to know if gentleman is referring to private sector or public sector jobs?
If you can just reply with one word to that.
Yes, public sector.
Public sector jobs. Okay. So this is a great question because I have discussed this with other candidates from all the wards. We actually had a little debate about this on the side. And because we want to see our people here in Durham Region flourish, we want to see you have first crack at the jobs that are available. However, there is a debate ongoing on how we would do that, how without being discriminatory to people. Now, if there was certain bids coming in and there was a way to do it, that you could say, you know, maybe if you had all Durham employees, you know, but I don't know how, honest to God, we looked at it, and I don't know how we would be successful at that without being discriminatory towards people. We have to look at people, and we can't legislate that sector. We have to, you know, look at people as first, you know, who is best for the job. Always the candidate that's best for the job. So it's a good question. I thank you for it. We have debated about it privately, but there's not a solution to that at this time.
Thank you. Now, I understand I'm a little bit strict sometimes just for being fair in time. That's the reason why. So, young man, very happy to see some youth of the voice. Please give a round of applause. That's awesome. Go ahead.
Though I'm not an eligible voter, I had a question about how you guys are going to use your power as a regional counselor to help get seniors more involved into the community, or those who remain at home more involved in the community.
Okay, we'll start with Sterling on this one.
Sorry, just putting my notes together. We have a huge seniors population, and when you speak with when I spoke with the CEO of Alzheimer's Canada, it's going to be a pandemic of seniors that require beds that don't have beds. And the question is very apt. What if they don't want to just stay at home? What if they want to get involved? The town of Ajax has senior seminars. I've run through the federal office a senior seminar with my provincial counterparts. There are ways to keep the seniors active, but it starts with how do they get from point A to point B, and it goes back to kind of transit. You know, transit is not accessible where seniors don't want to wait 45 minutes to get one bus to another, transfer, and to get to their location. They don't have that kind of patience, they don't have that kind of time. So one of the key things in making sure seniors get home, get involved, because we have tons of seniors groups in Ajax, is fixing the transit problem first, either by lowering rates or increasing routes.
Thank you, Sterling. Nancy.
That is a great question. It's a great question coming from such a young person. So thank you for that question. Much appreciated. And it was seniors, correct?
Correct.
It was anyone living at home and is not able to. It's not like out all day, like going on a morning trip and coming back home.
Okay, so that's a great question. So my mother was on the waiting list for 5 years to get here to affordable housing here in Durham from Toronto. She's now here. I'm grateful for it. She's in Durham Regional Housing across from the hospital. We have excellent programs there. I'm very fortunate and lucky that we got her here. Now that she's here, we can do what she needs, her groceries, her laundry. I have a PSW coming in to help with personal service needs. I've seen a lot through my mother, and I've also taken care of my grandmother from the ages of 17 to 24 before I was married. What I'm finding right now going door to door with our seniors is we're being told there's a community in Middlecote that is telling me that there is no bus service in the daytime when they need it to get to where they need to go. And the seniors are all gathering in a park in that area. I think it's great that they have that community, but I think it's sad we can't get them to where they need to go. Transit needs to be looked at immediately, absolutely, without a doubt. And there is places where seniors had access to transit and now have to go up a ramp to get to transit when they didn't have to before. And these are things that we need to address to get them to where they need to go. It's no good to put a program in place if you can't get to the program.
Thank you, Nancy. Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Shannon. This question is very valid, that you have values for your elders. So, first of all, we should know what are the requirements of the elders, our seniors. Like some people, they are experts, they are retired, but they are willing to do something for their community. For that, we should know whether they are available for which programs. For that, some seniors, they can work properly. They can get transit on the outside on the main roads, but some they are unable to go, they need wheelchairs. So if we will provide them right facility, they can come on the right track and they can guide us, they can give us their experience, whatever they have done for this country, this community or this region. So it depends, the seniors who wants to do that, we should provide them right platform where they can introduce themselves, they have expertise and they want to transfer their knowledge to their communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. And thank you so much again for that question. Sorry, the group is next to you. Sir, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Zam, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm going towards the automotive side, and currently right now I'm in grade 12, so I want you guys to know what you guys are doing for the automotive side.
Okay, so for this one, we're going to start with Nancy.
That's a great question. I come from a GM family, my husband. 22 years at Ray Foss Motors. Before that, my father owned his own garage, so mechanics are in my blood. For the GM sector, so I went to a little information seminar last night, and you're going to have to forgive me because it's so fresh in my head, I can't remember all the information offhand. But what we're learning is that we have to, as a region, look to our strengths when we're creating jobs. And we're being told that our strengths are in utilities, power, and automotive sector. And this is what we need to be working on. I look very much forward to working with regional partners. I have friends running in most wards across the region, different friends. I have a very large network community, and I'm very excited to start working with them once elected and see what can be done to create more automotive sector employment. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Mohammed.
I didn't tell about myself. By profession, I'm a mechanical engineer. And I have my two friends here. They were my class fellow in Pakistan. We did from engineering university. So my field is this one, automotive too. So this is the most demanding industry in the world, in North America too, right? So if you will see you're around, right? Automotive means like you are not going to do only for cars. You can go for trucks. You can go for vehicles. So it depends on your capacity and in which field you have got specialization, right? As a student, or now you're a student, you will go in the practical life. So you should settle your goal where you want to go, and you will apply it. It depends on your ability. So if you have, there are so many industries. Let's suppose most of the people, they know about GM Motors. GM is only, they're assembling there. Behind that, there are at least 2,000 parts. And there they need engineers like you.
So don't go for even major industries. There are small industries, they have lots of jobs. It doesn't matter they are in my community or somewhere else. For this, it is not like, it is quite impossible. Like I will bring, or we will try to bring all industries here. Because you are young, wherever you will get a chance, get experience, then as you will get experience, you can shift yourself near to your house or area. Okay,
Thank you, Ron. Sterling.
Earlier this summer, I had the pleasure of meeting with representatives from UIT. They have a state-of-the-art test track that's the only one in the world. It simulates weather conditions, it simulates driving conditions, and it's here in Durham region. Car manufacturers all over the world are lining up to use this track to test their own automobiles. We have this in our own backyard. We should be shouting it from the rooftops, promoting Durham College's program. Yes, Durham College is not an Ajax directly, but eventually down the line, or sorry, it's UIT, excuse me, UIT is not an Ajax directly, but down the line, we've heard from mayoral candidates who say they want to get a satellite campus. Again, it's all about connecting our job growth with what we're teaching in the schools. There's absolutely an opportunity to have automotive in Ajax. I don't think we'll get a giant parts plant, but we can have smaller parts or clean energy solutions. So I'm very, very enthusiastic, very, very happy that there is an automotive sector. It's right in our backyard, and we should be highlighting it in terms of attracting jobs in Ajax.
Thank you, Sterling. And thank you for asking. I'm proud of you. Great job. Sir, please go ahead.
As regional councilors responsible for transit, we're seeing a great deal of change now in transit. There's from Uber to autonomous vehicles coming into the future. In the future of transit in Durham, what are each of you think are top 3 priorities? What should be focusing on for transit for the future for Durham?
Thank you. So focusing on transit now. Mohammed, we'll start with you.
Thank you very much for this. You know, we need lots of changing in transit system. Let's suppose bus comes on after 30 minutes here, and my kid's ready, and her class starts at 10:45, and bus comes at 9:30. So she should be there. She can catch the bus, right? And second, we need much improvement, and we should sit with the regional transportation department. We should reduce the time to get from one end to other time. Second, you asked about Uber, right? Uber is most of the people, even in GTA, they are happy because you guys are paying approximately half price than a regular taxi price. So still, our transit system is very economical for those people who doesn't have that transport. They want to move from one end to another end. We can bring more buses here. It depends on our population and road infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Sterling.
So you had asked for our top 3 priorities. So short term, let's revisit fares. We're charging a youth who's 13 years old, $93.50 to get a monthly pass. You can't even get a job until you're 14, yet somehow a 13-year-old is supposed to come up with $1,122 a year. Let's make sure youth can afford to take transit as a huge priority. Secondly, we should be examining rideshare options like Uber. I just studied the Innisfil report, and they say they saved $8 million subsidizing Uber costs in lieu of transit. So for example, it cost $3 to go to a community center, $4 to go to your local GO Transit, $5 to anywhere else in town. Why aren't we embracing these more modern technologies? Yes, we've heavily invested in buses right now, but right now, what we're all finding out is the buses can't get the jobs done right now. So we should also be examining other avenues that are cheaper, have higher customer satisfaction ratings, and can actually provide a valuable service for our community. The last one is, for our long term, we should be looking at automation. Self-driving cars is going to be a reality, whether it's in the next 10, 15, 20 years. Durham region, with our automotive industry, should be on the forefront of self-driving cars, because self-driving cars means there's no congestion, the cars move by themselves, people are going to be more effective and improve their efficiency at work. So that's why I'm a huge fan of automotion. I think it's an innovative way to embrace new technologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Sterling. And Nancy.
This is a great question. I have a large youth group base that I work with, as I said. And the first thing I heard this summer when I helped them secure jobs was, Nancy, I can't get to the job. I said, what do you mean? My parents work during the day in Toronto. Durham Regional Transit, I can't figure out how to use it. We downloaded apps, we tried to show different students, did a learning seminar, if you will. The app is saying that the bus is going to come at one time, it's not arriving on time. The affordability of it, I'm hearing this almost at every door I've knocked on, honestly, almost every door, that if you have 2 to 3 youth in your home using Durham Transit, the cost of that is almost the cost of a vehicle a month. So why would I put them on the transit? I can't afford both. We need to look at some different programs. Now, I know that some stuff has been floating online and out there about a Kingston transit system model that has worked successfully, and I would be more than willing to look at that as well as some other models. I think we need to, and I spoke with a trustee, I think we need to start bringing Durham Regional Transit to the schools and elementary school, teaching our students how to get on and off the bus safely, proper procedure and protocol, just like you do with the yellow bus that we travel all the time. We need to start creating ridership early so we have more long-term ridership. I think it can be successful. I think it can work. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Ma'am, please go ahead.
I'm interested in what your goals are for dementia care strategies, because it's not only the elderly, there are young people out there living with dementia, and also for children in schools with ASD and ADHD and other like issues where the schools are needing help. And how can we help fix that as parents?
So would you say mental health related issues?
Yes.
Specifically those ones. Okay, Sterling.
My grandma, unfortunately, has Alzheimer's, and my parents were forced to put her in a home. And I see her, unfortunately, not often enough, and it's an unfortunate circumstance. So again, I spoke with the CEO of Alzheimer's Canada, and I said, what is the solution? Because my grandma's not the only one. Obviously, we're getting more and more seniors who are falling to dementia and Alzheimer's. And we have to change our approach, which sounds obvious, but in Japan, they encourage, there's no stigma to Alzheimer's anymore. In Japan, they encourage people to go out, and your neighbor will help someone if they're in danger. We need to kind of work as a region and formalize more accessible plans. For example, if you have a senior with Alzheimer's, give them a card with emergency contact information that they carry with them at all time. Allow them to go out and not be afraid of the world. In terms of your question earlier of children with these types of issues, accessibility remains a huge issue. More and more children are being diagnosed with autism. This is a reality we have to face, whether it's comfortable for us or not. One of the first things we have to do is have these conversations and stop putting a stigma, because there are many high-functioning children with autism who can, live perfectly, quote-unquote, normal lives. So we really have to just address, the elephant in the room and not stigmatize people with autism and embrace them. And it starts with our parenting, and it starts with any programs available to make this more accessible.
Thank you, Sterling. Nancy.
I need clarification on this question, because I was a little confused after that answer. It's children we're speaking of, right, in school?
It's dementia not only related to elderly, but also those who may.
And is it dementia, or is it ADD, ADHD, and Alzheimer's? Because there's a difference there.
Yeah,
So,
she mentioned all those, and then so we put that under mental health issues.
okay, so as far as help within the school, that falls under the trustee, and that would fall under the board, be it public and or Catholic. And I'm not pushing that off, because as a chair, I've been very fortunate to spend sometimes 40 hours in the school, in my own daughter's school, getting ready for different programs that we had. But I know firsthand, working with the trustees, being part of DCPEG, talking to public school board trustees, this falls under kind of their provision. And anything that can be done to work with them would be great at a regional level. Again, it goes back to having the trustees, having the boards, and the communication as a whole with the region. It's very important to include all of these conversations to find the solutions that are needed. In our own school, I have to say there's some wonderful work being done. I've seen it firsthand, and we have a lot of friends with special needs that are very gifted, and where they are maybe lacking in one area, they are excelling so far in another area. Really, really wonderful gifts that they have, and we need to embrace that. We need to nurture it. We need to give them the opportunity to show us the gifts that they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And Mohammed.
One of my friends, she has 2 kids. They have this type of problem, and it is they are doing their jobs and they are taking care of their kids at home. They live in my community near my house, so it is not easy for them to take care of these kids. But fortunately, we are in a good country, in community, that they have most of the time, our community, our government try their best to provide their basic necessities. They can get it. They provided them school buses, they go to schools. From me, we should give them more time, and we should never think they are from any level, they are less than us. They need more values than, as I'm taking care of my kids, so they should need more values than our kids. Because they are born here, that's not their fault. If they're born here, that's for us, that how lucky we are healthy. So it is, if we are healthy, we should see towards them, and we should try our best to, if they have any problems, we should raise on the community, on the municipal level, provincial level, and federal level, because they are our part. They are part of the system. Whatever their parents feel the problems, we should open a platform where they can, clearly they can explain their problems, and our community, our government should do something for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. We have enough for this question and next one, and I just want to say I love the youth engagement, so please go ahead.
Just first off, could you clarify their roles as regional?
So regional council deals with policing, transit, major roadways, health and social services.
Okay. So my question ties into a bit of policing and crime and health and social services. So we have a bit of a homelessness problem in Ajax. What could you do to help with that? In addition to that, affordable housing. I would never be able to afford a house in Ajax. I'd have to move really far away. So what could you guys do about that? Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll start with Nancy on this one.
So affordable housing and homelessness. So you are very correct that we do have an issue here in Ajax. There is a plaza across from Town Hall that I frequent all the time. And there's a gentleman that I come across quite frequently who is in that plaza. It seems like his friendship circle is growing. There are more and more every day. There are friends that are in the middle of Highway 2 with cups asking for money on the highway, coming off and on. There is a huge issue going on in Ajax that is becoming more and more at the forefront of conversations. And it is something that we need to address. Again, some of the candidates and I have been speaking about this and what can be done. We have programs that are really amazing through the Salvation Army, and we need to support those programs. We need to have a regional discussion and at the level with all councillors that are elected after October 22nd, and discuss this as a regional issue and not just a town or city issue, because it really is a regional issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Mohammed.
There are lots of number. They are in the queue for the homeless, and they are unable to get their houses here. But you will see so many people around, as Nancy said, near the 401, they are begging for money. Like whenever you talk to them, they said we don't have money. But as far as my knowledge, government fully support them, and our police try their best to stop them because it can cause any accident there too. But most of the time, you will see they are those people who didn't get intentions from our community. Most of the time, you will see they use drug. Most of the people, they want to give them money, but they will not give them because they know government giving them welfare, all stuff. But most of the beggar I saw there, I feel like my body shakes, that I'm living in a house. But there are some mistakes they have done. It might be that is my community fault. We were unable to provide that type of atmosphere here. Or maybe we provide, because I'm providing best facility to my kids. Maybe there was someone's fault. So police regarding that should be polite, and they should treat like a, not abnormal, but on a soft way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohammed. And Sterling.
In terms of affordable housing, the federal government announced a 10-year, $4 billion federal strategy to address housing so that the next generation of Canadians can afford to live in the areas they want to live in. But in terms of the Durham Region strategy, there's a wait list, and how do we tackle the wait list? And I'll be very honest, I have not figured that out yet. We have to consult with the various different regional councillors throughout Durham Region and figure out what the long-term solution is outside of the 10-year strategy, because in 10 years the wait list will only grow more, and we aren't guaranteed more money beyond that point. As far as homelessness goes, it's one of the reasons I'm supporting the body cameras for our police officers. I'm not saying our police have mistreated our homeless in any degrees, and I haven't got any kind of anecdotal feedback. But I think the body camera system encourages police to, when they approach a civilian, it just keeps them transparent and keeps the accountability on the police to ensure that, we treat these people with civility, we treat them as human beings. Yes, they've encountered hardships in their lives that we can't even comprehend, but we shouldn't take away their civility, we shouldn't take away their humanity.
Thank you, Sterling. All right, John, please close us off with the last question.
Sure. So I just want to get practical. So talking back at transit, because this is in your sphere, right? So I live across the street, and we have 2 cars, right? I work in Markham, Highway 7 and Warden. So there's a GO bus line that comes from Brooklyn, goes along Highway 7, and gets to Unionville, right? There's no line that comes along Taunton to pick up people who live in Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, to pick up people along the bus road that they can actually get to, and then get to Unionville. Only if we have something that goes south. So can you talk about practical strategies for that?
Can you just clarify what's the intent of the question?
My intent of the question is, what are some practical things that we can do you guys all say that we need better transit. What are some practical things that we can do
to prioritize?
To actually make it better, so we can actually use transit to get beyond where we need to go?
Tangible, realistic priorities for transit. Okay, so we're going to start with Mohammed on this. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much. And you are the 4th person, including you, when I was campaigning. So they asked this question that when, because people always compare cities, right? They said we live in Markham area, we sit on 48 or 84 bus number. We start from Kennedy Station, and they dropped us on Markham and Denison, I think, and then we can use another transit to go somewhere in the York region. So I heard from different people from my community that we don't have that type of arrangement here. I think we should do that. We can take buses. We should need 2 stops from the west end and 2 stops from the east end, like Taunton and Pickering Town Line. We should arrange their small bus stops, and like Durham Transit can drop our passenger there, and they can take another bus from there, and they can commute from Durham to Toronto or Scarborough area. Second, we should do on the Kingston Road if they want to use their local transit. Unfortunately, the people selected before us, I was here in last election, totally 100% same questions, different audience. I don't know, like all guys asking us questions. Like, did you ever courage to ask these questions? who were in that town, who were in that region, why they were unable to solve their problems. You are asking us, but it is my promise, if I will go there, you are sending new people. We will raise your voices better than whatever they have done for you.
Thank you, Marvin. Sterling.
I was reading in Durham Region News that, 3 years of declining youth ridership between the ages 13 and 19, down 7.4% in 2017. We have a problem with Durham Region Transit. We all recognize this. To answer your specific question of a very specific route, I don't have the answer because, quite honestly, I don't take transit. I've always kind of driven my entire life. So one of the first things I do as your elected representative is we have quarterly town halls from transit users. I have a town hall specifically on transit. Let's get the feedback. We'll have someone from Durham Region Transit there that can possibly answer the questions, and who knows, we might be able to affect change directly if we appeal directly to the people that make these decisions. I also want to see a reduction in ridership, or not ridership, sorry, in fares, depending on the age limit. A 6 to 12-year-old shouldn't have to pay $65 to get on the bus. We're encouraging people not to use the bus right now. And so I want to make sure that we have a fair system in line that Durham Region Transit can be profitable, but at the same time, accessible to anyone of any age.
Thank you, Sterling. And Nancy.
So for Durham Regional Transit, I've been lucky enough to speak at least with one of the candidates running for chair. And I think that this is a solution-based. It's going to have to start from the top down. What I mean by this is we're going to need the next regional chair to start doing some talks and negotiations with our partners in Toronto and Markham, our connecting areas with regards to regional transit. We need to make sure it's reliable and it's affordable and safe. And when I say safe, that might sound a little silly, but when you think about Taunton Road and the speeds on Taunton Road and the little pads that you stand on in the slippery cold winter with a little pole there, I know that it's in the budget, it's coming, but we need some kind of safety and security shelters up there. There was an accident up there about 3 weeks ago where a car hit another car and drove into, I believe, the pedestrian waiting for the bus up there on Municipal and Taunton. And the whole neighborhood was devastated by this. These are the type of things that we need to look at. We need to make sure that we have the routes there for Taunton, for Roslyn, for Harwood, for Bailey, these routes that are constantly going east to west to connect us, right, to get us to where we need to go, to lessen the amount of people using vehicles and increase ridership. Also, we're hearing a lot about the disconnect from people from north to south Ajax, and we need to work on that as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Nancy. And that's for the question portion about the 11, so great job to all of you. We're going to move into the closing remarks. And we're going to start from the seating arrangement at the other end. So Sterling, you have to come to your closing remarks. You have 1 minute, and please just keep an eye on the cards to know the time.
Well, thank you, everybody. Tonight you heard our respective plans for not just the next 4 years, but the next 8 and 12 after that. I firmly believe any plan has to follow a SMART criteria. Is the plan specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? Is it time-based? My platform as outlined meets all those criteria. My plan for Ajax on community safety is focusing on frontline officers and setting up photo radar in school zones. It emphasizes the need to attract business development by aiming for specific new industries and modernizing outdated processes. It targets community growth, focusing on youth initiatives and funding new solutions to issues such as the replacement of the casino and the updating of transit policies. Ward 2 needs an effective communicator, not just at the town, but a regional council. My name is Sterling Lee, and from October 15th to the 22nd, I hope I can count on your support to become your next Ward 2 regional councilor. Thank you.
Thank you, Sterling.
I have 3 priorities for, sorry, start again, please. at least you all guys smile, right? Thank you. 1, 2, 3, right? So I have 3 priorities. Number 1 is local economy. Our region is amongst the highest in paying property taxes because we do not have the right mix of residential and commercial tax base My plan is to have more service land, invite big corporations to invest in Durham region and create more jobs. That would allow us to expand our commercial tax base and create local jobs for the residents. Safe community. Road safety is one of the top concerns across the region. This is the time to engage residents and stakeholders, who controls that. Put together tools and measures available to increase safety around our schools, streets, and ensure our streets are safe for everyone. Responsible growth. My plan is to close gap between the residents and the region. Engage people so they are informed where their money is spent. I would their voice, listen to them, and bring their concerns to the table and bring smart solutions by improving convenience, the residents, and we can bring better solutions. Please remember me on 22nd of October. My name is Muhammad Asif. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Muhammad, and Nancy.
I'd like to finish the evening with thanking all of you for watching the debate here and at home, our organizers for their time. I want to let you know that I'm going to fight hard for you at the regional level, at every meeting, to bring a voice to you, all of you, a voice for the people. Together, we will bring forth change and accomplish getting done what's important to you. We have a chance here now to be heard. Let's do this together on October 22nd. Vote Nancy Henry. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to all our candidates once again. And you know the drill, give a round of applause to all of you for coming on tonight. On behalf of myself, Pauline, Marianne, and the whole team that put it together, thank you so much for taking your time to come out tonight, asking great questions. Really inspired to see the youth as well speaking up and engaging. Again, ajax.ca/debates with an S. You can find this and share it online with the rest of the community. Have a safe ride back wherever you get home, and best of luck. And October 15th to October 22nd, anytime, anywhere, you can vote.